thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, that make-believe party that Boris was throwing at his house for the Moon Men developed some unexpected complications. In the first place, after Boris went to all the trouble of mixing up a bucket of Mickey Fins, Bullwinkle gave the wrong toast.
Well, here's the crime.
And Boris and Natasha had to drink their own sleeping potion. After that, the gathering broke up rather quickly.
Party droopers.
Then Rocky arrived and convinced Bullwinkle that he ought to return to his own laboratory. But as our friends left the house...
You're under arrest by order of the United States government.
What for?
We have information there are 2 spies here.
Spies? Who could that be?
Pardon my pointing, but it looks like you 2. Grab 'em.
But as the special agent grabbed Gidney, Cloyd leveled his scrooch gun, and the agent was instantly frozen solid.
Wait a minute, they're not spies. They're visitors from the moon.
The moon? Well, that's a job for State Department. But what about those 2? They look suspicious.
Sir, you are speaking of our hosts.
Oh, I'm sure they're all right.
They're just a little punchy is all.
Come on, Bullwinkle, we gotta get back to the lab.
But what about up the creek here? We can't just leave him.
Oh, he'll be all right. How long did you scrooch him for, Clyde? Only 50 years.
50 years?
Kind of a long wait, ain't it?
What'll we do?
Hey, I got an idea. Listen.
And so the next day there was a special ceremony held in the front of the National Security Building to dedicate a statue of Virus T. Updecreek, the first special agent to be scrooched in the line of duty. Very few people knew that the statue was really Updecreek himself, with a coat of white paint to keep him in good condition until he became unscrooched 50 years later. And of course, the real stars of the occasion were the Moon Men. Everybody wanted to look at them.
Oh, they're cute.
And in the next few days, the whole country went moon mad. Women immediately adopted the Moon Man look. Beauty shops specialized in Moon Man hairdos. Pointed heads were all the rage. Gidney and Cloyd were given the key to the city.
Delicious.
They even made television commercials.
And this is what the Moon Men look like after only 6 weeks at Dick Fanny's.
Yeah, we used to look like this.
Never have so many been so curious about so few. And pretty soon the pace began to tell on Gidney and Cloyd. They couldn't even eat a meal in peace.
Hello, Kirk.
Hello, Marilyn.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Marlin.
Hello, Roger.
Hello, Sophia.
Hello, Gidney.
Hello, Clyde. Oh, this has gone far enough.
And so one night Rocky and Bullwinkle heard a knock on their door.
Come in. Why, it's the Moon Men. How do you like it here on Earth so far?
It's so wonderful we can't stand it anymore.
Look, I've got circles under my circles.
And from shaking so many hands, look, sagging fingers.
So we've got to leave now.
Well, toodaloo.
You don't understand. When I say we, I mean all of we. You too.
Us? How come?
Well, we can't just leave you here to discover the rocket fuel, you know.
But I was just now sending out my laundry. Oh, well, I guess they can forward it.
Quickly now.
And the 2 Moon Men marched our friends to the field where they had hidden their strange spacecraft.
Get in.
I don't suppose we could pay now and fly later.
In.
I didn't think so.
The door slammed shut, and with an unearthly sound, the spaceship with our heroes aboard zoomed straight up. Its destination, the moon. Don't fail to see our next episode, Hello Out There, or there's no place like space.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
But that trick never works.
This time for sure. Presto! Well, I'm getting close.
And now it's time for another special feature.
Did you ever know a boy who got everything he wanted? Well, that was Jack. In fact, Jack was given so many toys by his mother that he became spoiled, and his mother became very, very poor. For you see, she used all of her money to buy toys for Jack until she was left with only one worldly possession, a cow. Except Jack, of course. Aside from being very, very poor, they were continually being frightened by loud thums.
Thumb!
And sometimes fees.
Fee!
Which would come out of the sky like thunder. This was very noisy, to say the least. But Jack's mother decided first things first and sent Jack to the village to sell the cow so they'd had money enough for food. Jack was very inexperienced in the world of commerce, so what did he do? What any young boy would do. He sold the cow for 6 lima beans.
Jack, you've never heard such fumming and feeing since you've been gone. I thought the sky would crash in on our heads. How much did you get for the cow, son?
6 lima beans, Mother.
6 lima beans? Why, Jack, you know I don't like lima beans.
But the man said they were magic beans.
Off to bed, Jack, not another word.
So Jack went to bed without any supper. The next morning, Jack was awakened by a huge beanstalk growing right outside his window. Jack thought to himself, beanstalks this big are for climbing. And so he did. He climbed, and then he climbed some more. Finally, he reached the top. He didn't know that he was in the land of Thumb. Or is it Fee? Jack started out in search of food, and soon he came to a huge castle. He crossed the huge drawbridge and entered the huge gate. Everything inside the castle was huge, too.
My, this room is big enough for a...
Giant? This is the castle of the Giant of Thumb. Or is it Fee? He's a mean, evil giant with a nasty disposition, and he stole from your father, let's see, 1 hen, golden egg type, 2 bags of gold, 14 carat, 1 harp, singing variety. You must return them to your mother, who was the rightful owner. But remember, the giant has a keen sense of smell. If he smells a stranger, he will say, fee, fi, fo, fum. And then you must run for your life, because that means he's discovered you.
But how do you know all this?
Because I am your fairy godmouse.
Just then, there was a terrible thumping noise like huge, flat footsteps. Jack hid behind the door just as the giant entered. He was huge.
Wife, bring me my hen.
And while Jack watched in amazement, the hen laid an egg made of solid gold.
Wait a minute. Fee, fi, fo, fop. I smell... No, that's not right. Fee, fi, fo...
Fum!
That's it! Fum! Fee, fo, fi, fum! But now I don't smell anything.
So Jack returned the hen to his mother, and she seemed so delighted that the next day Jack returned to the castle.
Wife, bring me my bag of gold.
It was more gold than Jack knew there was in the world.
Wait a minute. Fi, fo, fum, fee.
No, dear, it's fee, fi, fo, fum.
That's what I said. Fee, fi, fum, fo.
Fum, stupid! Fee, fi, fo, fum!
And as the giant and his wife argued, Jack slipped out of the door and was gone. He gave the gold to his mother. She seemed so delighted that the next day he was back in his hiding place.
Wife, bring me my singing harp. Owen, it's you.
Oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in.
Wait a minute. 3, 5, 4.
Fum! And for goodness sakes, hurry, I'm being stolen.
Ooh, I'll give you such a thumb.
Oh, when the saints go marching in, when the saints go marching in, how I want to be in the number when the saints go marching in.
You know, Jack didn't really have to chop down the beanstalk. For you see, the giant was so afraid of heights that when he looked over the edge, he was so frightened that from that day on, never again was heard a fum or even a feeble fee. Only foop or tweep. And Jack changed too, for he had learned that there was as much fun in giving as in receiving, and so everybody lived happily ever after, Jack and his mother and the cow.
And the fairy godmouse.
That's a pretty strange-looking painting, Bullwinkle.
I just paint what I see.
Well, what do you see?
This is what I see.
Now here's our own tribute to the arts, Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello there. Today's poem is called My Shadow. Okay, Rock. Thank you. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He stays so close behind me, he's a coward, you can see. I'd think shame to stick to Nursey like... Ooh! All right, wise guy, put him up, put him up! Any time a dang busted shadow gets flipped with me... Ooh! Okay, you've been asking for it. Well, I still got my secret weapon. Okay, Rocky, turn off the light. Oh, fiddle faddle.
And now it's time
For 5 or 6 baritone solos in the key of E.
But
If not... Ooh!
now for another of our special features.
Should have tried E flat.
Hello, my name is Peabody. I am a genius.
And my name is Sherman. I'm a boy. Mr. Peabody's boy.
Set the Wayback Machine for the 6th century, Sherman.
6th century it is, Mr. Peabody. And the place?
Camelot, where we'll visit King Arthur. The Wayback took us way back instantly to the foot of King Arthur's throne.
At last you are here. Which of you is the doctor?
Why, is someone ill, Your Majesty?
Not yet, but there will be. There always is on Black Tuesday.
Black Tuesday, sire?
Yes. Once a year, merry old England breaks out in a rash of plagues and floods. It always happens on a Tuesday. And you couldn't very well call it White Tuesday, could you?
Have there been any disasters yet?
Oh, yes, all sorts.
Such as?
Well, take us, for instance, my singing sword.
Looks all right to me.
Well, it may looketh all right, but today it singeth flat.
What else has gone wrong, Your Highness?
There's Merlin the magician. 1 hour ago, he developed a case of amnesia.
Abra. Oh, I wish I could recall how the rest of that goes.
You see? One calamity after another. And who knows what's next?
We soon found out.
Sire, we are doomed! Camelot is doomed!
Of course we are, dear boy. It's Black Tuesday.
It's the drawbridge, sire! There's a dragon down there!
A glance through the castle window confirmed the unusual report.
This, then, is it.
Why not fight the dragon?
Yes, but what with?
What about your knights?
Restless, lad, restless. Can't sleep a wink.
Sherman is referring to the armored type of knight, Your Majesty. You know, Galahad, Lancelot.
Oh, them! Yes, that's a good idea. Summon my knight.
Quickly, the drawbridge was lowered. But unfortunately, most of Arthur's knights had taken a shower with their armor on.
Rust! It is the thing we feareth most.
However, one solitary knight chose that moment to return from a quest.
I am Arthur's most valiant knights around. Begone, O dragon, or I shall runneth you through.
But instead of departing, the dragon merely sent a scorching sheet of fire.
Gadzooks, I've been barbecued.
Infuriated, the king drew his singing sword.
Out of tune or not, Excalibur and I will cut the beast to ribbons.
But the only thing he cut was a bell cord.
Well, Mr. Peabody, what now?
It would seem, Sherman, as though the responsibility is ours.
Yeah, but how do you handle a dragon?
Preferably with asbestos gloves. Wasting not a second, we crossed the drawbridge and confronted the huge monster.
We don't have any weapons, Mr. Peabody.
We don't need any. Now, if you'll empty your pockets, remove the contents and place them on the ground.
I don't get it.
The dragon will, my boy. Ah, that's what I was looking for. I believe you call this...
Bubble gum. Double bubble gum.
Yes. Now we shall leave the bubble gum here and return to the castle.
Do you think the dragon will let us?
Like anyone else, dragons are curious. No sooner had we left the scene than the dragon had inspected the bubble gum, decided it was edible, and quickly chewed it.
I still don't understand.
Watch. We've been quite patient with you, and so I suggest you return to your home, or else we'll be forced to resort to violence.
Look out, Mr. Peabody. He's going to breathe fire on you.
You forget the bubble gum. And so, as the dragon sank slowly in the west, Sherman and I returned to Arthur's throne.
Magnificent display of courage. I would knighteth you both if we weren't so busy with the termites.
Now it's termites, sire?
Look.
Before our very eyes, a square, massive table was partially consumed.
This is terrible, Mr. Peabody.
I don't know. Think of it this way. If it weren't for the termites, King Arthur and his knights might never have had a round table.
While the two Moon Men, Gidney and Cloyd, were kept busy making personal appearances and signing autographs, Rocky and Bullwinkle were working furiously to rediscover their lost rocket fuel. But time ran out on them when the Moon Men got tired of all their fame and decided to go home.
It's so wonderful we can't stand it anymore.
To keep our boys from finding the formula, Gidney and Cloyd made them get into their spaceship and took off for the moon, carrying Rocky and Bullwinkle with them. Up and up the strange craft went, and then suddenly...
Cloyd, what is it?
I don't know. I'll check the fuel indicator.
Is it empty?
According to this, we owe it 2 gallons.
Impossible.
Stand by to land.
With its fuel gone, the spaceship dropped quickly down.
Bullwinkle, are you all right?
I guess so. Is this the floor where we get off?
It sure is. Come on.
One moment.
You can't scare us with that anymore. If we can't get to the moon, neither can you.
You know they're right, Cloyd.
You mean we're stuck here?
Looks like.
I might as well be Scrooched.
Wait a minute. You know what the rocket fuel formula is, don't you?
Well, yes, but...
Well, why didn't you tell us and we'll make some for you?
Well...
What do you got to lose?
Well, sure, the worst you can wind up with is a mess of fudge cake.
All right, but I certainly wish I knew what happened to our fuel.
Well, if Gidney had happened to glance outside, he would have found out right away. For 2 familiar figures were scurrying off, carrying between them the fuel tank which they had removed from the Moon Men's ship.
Well, Boris, we have done it again.
I certainly have.
We still don't have the formula.
Who needs it? We got tank of the fuel itself. Now let's check timetable to see what time leaves next submarine.
Meanwhile, back in the disabled spaceship, Rocky had just finished reading the formula for the rocket fuel.
Well, we can get all the ingredients, I think, except this one.
What's that?
Mooseberry juice.
Mooseberry juice. Heck, that's easy.
Oh, not as easy as all that. There's only one place in your whole country where it grows.
Where's that?
Near a little town called Frostbite Falls.
Frostbite Falls?
You know it?
Know it? It's our hometown.
Yup, right here in Minnesota.
Bullwinkle, that's Florida.
Well, if they're going to keep adding states all the time, they can't expect me to keep up.
Minnesota's up here.
Where's Frostbite Falls?
I don't see it.
What's the population?
23?
Here, better use this microscope.
And while Bullwinkle searched for the location of the country's only mooseberry patch, Boris and Natasha were sitting in a rowboat a couple of miles offshore.
Keep your eyes open, Natasha. The submarine should be surfacing any minute.
But, darling, how can I see in all this fog?
You should have eyes like mine, Natasha. They don't miss one teensy-tiny little thing. Big things, yes, but little things, no.
All right, you two, get below. It's all yours.
You're not coming?
You're leaving, he's leaving, I'm staying. Somebody's got to mind the store.
And so the two spies carefully stowed the explosive rocket fuel and headed the midget submarine across the ocean toward its sinister destination. While our friends were still figuring out how to get to Frostbite Falls, be sure to see our next episode, A Creep in the Deep, or Will Success Spoil Boris Badenov?
It looks as if our time is just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.